Hi, I'm Casey from the Dirty Gym, and today we're going to be talking a little more in detail about bracing. Okay, so the structure that we're going to use today is first, why is it important to us? Okay. Second, we're going to go through how we actually brace, and Bethany's going to help me with some demos. And then we're going to talk about how you can train this position. Okay, so first, why is bracing important? So obviously, we want to be in as a neutral position as possible for our bodily safety, okay? So while we're lifting, we want to be able to stay stable through the midline so that we can properly display the mobility of our hip, of our shoulder, and of our knee, okay? So how we do this, we utilize our diaphragm for both its breathing and bracing function, okay? So Bethany, come in here. So when we look at Bethany, as she turns to the side here, so we're looking at where her pelvis is, and then where's the bottom of her rib cage. Okay, so ideally, we want these two lines to be completely parallel. Okay, so we don't want her in extension. Okay, and we also don't want her folded forward on herself. Okay, so we need to be completely neutral to use this diaphragm. Okay, because our diaphragm is going to be compressing down to produce inner abdominal pressure, okay? And we team this with our breathing, so we have outward force, and then our abdomen and our erectors are gonna provide an inward force, okay? So you can basically think of yourself like a pop can. So with the lid closed, it's super, super strong. With the lid open, we can just smash it, okay? So this is what your body needs to be like. We need to be inflated and neutral, okay? So the first drill that we're gonna do is a lying down drill. So Bethany's gonna lay flat on her back, put her calves up on the bench. Her knees are gonna be at a 90-degree angle. So first we're gonna start working on her belly breathing. So I'm gonna ask her to draw her breath down and shove out against my hand. So what we don't wanna see is her chest rising and falling here, okay? So she's driving out 360 degrees with that breath, okay? So next, we're gonna ask her to expand and now slowly draw the breath to fill her entire cavity here, okay? So we're practicing our breathing first. So to team our breathing and our bracing together, we're first gonna squeeze our glutes. We're gonna inflate again. And then we're going to pull that rib cage down, so now the hip and the top of the rib cage are neutral, okay? So you'll notice here, her back is nice and flat against the floor. You can see her obliques pressing out and her lower abs are pressing out, okay? And that's exactly what we wanna see. Okay, so this is a great drill because we have the tactile cueing of the floor to actually press out against, okay? It becomes a little more difficult when we're standing up because we're just in free space, okay? And most of us stand just slightly overextended about 90% of our day, or we're like slumped forward, you know, typing or on our phone. So it's gonna feel a little bit awkward at first, okay? So Bethany, we're gonna do this from the side. Yep, first I want you to squeeze your glutes. We're gonna use the same order of operations. Inflate, and then pull the rib cage down, okay? And you'll notice while she does this, it's a very, very fine movement, okay? She's not rolling the shoulder forward. She's not crunching down so much that she is reducing the surface area of that abdomen, okay? So it's important that this is very fine. It's gonna feel like a lot of movement at first, but it's just a small difference, okay? Now, when we're bracing, this is not an all or nothing kind of thing, okay? How hard you're bracing is also gonna depend on how hard you're breathing, okay? So for something like a kettlebell swing, there's gonna be portions where you are bracing hard, but then we also need to breathe, okay? So we can't be like fully locked down in this super braced position the whole time, or else we can't breathe, we can't move well. So depending on what you're doing, is going to dictate how much bracing that you're going to be doing. So the bracing for a 1 rep max squat is very different than if we're doing burpees or if we're running, where we need a lot of respiration involved, okay? So think about it like a continuum of bracing, just because we are utilizing that diaphragm. And that diaphragm is responsible for you breathing, actually. We need to breathe during activities. So like even a 20 rep max squat would be different than a 1 rep max squat, okay? So it is something that you have to practice. And in practicing this, it comes down to, okay, when we are doing our ab work, our trunk is responsible for stabilization, okay? So we don't want to be doing a ton of ab work if we're training for, say, our bracing for the squat, where we're getting a lot of spinal flexion and extension, because that's not the position that we want to be in while we're squatting, okay? So it's important that our ab work reflects that, okay? And we get a good stimulus of heavy ab training and lighter ab training. So it carries over to our activities that we're trying to train for. Thank you guys for watching.